Hello. If you're watching this right now, it can only mean that you've enrolled in an online history class. My name is Dr. Ryan Pettengill, and I'm going to be your professor for the next several weeks. The purpose of this video is not only to welcome you to the course, but it's also to familiarize you with course policies, requirements, and expectations, and most importantly, the syllabus. So if you have not yet already done so, what I want you to do, and you feel free to put me on pause if you need to, go ahead and log into Blackboard, select our class, and then I want you on the left-hand side of the screen of Blackboard, I want you to click on the Information tab. Inside Information, you will find a copy of the course syllabus. Go ahead and download it if you'd like, print it out, and you can follow along with me. Okay, so as I said, this is an online class which is going to make communication really, really important. If you're taking this class face-to-face, you can ask me questions in lecture. You would see me on campus, perhaps, and that makes it a lot more easy, or a lot easier, rather, to get those questions addressed. Obviously, we don't have that luxury, so finding ways to communicate with me is going to be really, really important, and ultimately will probably determine who's successful and who's not successful in this class. Now, the easiest way to get a hold of me is through email. You see that email address at the top of the syllabus on page 1. I check that at the very least daily. Usually I check it even more often than once per day. But if you get me a message before 3 o'clock, Monday through Thursday, very, very good chance that I get you back, or I respond to you, rather, that same day. It's going to be a little bit slower if we're talking about the weekends or in the evenings, but I would like to believe that I answer all emails in a timely fashion. If you want to, you can also call the, um, the, um, the number that is listed in my office phone on the syllabus. I can't guarantee that I answer, but go ahead and leave me a voice message, and I'll probably get back to you through email. It's just easier on my end, but there is a phone if you want to give me a call, and perhaps we can talk through the phone. Lastly, you can always come see me by my office. I know that this is an online class. Many of you are nowhere near campus. However, you could also swing by if you happen to be in the neighborhood, so to speak. My office is located in W243, Mountain View College's campus. Um, I usually get here very early in the morning, Monday through Friday, and so if you get here early too, there's a good chance that we could run into each other. We could talk things out then. If not, officially the office hours of this class are going to be held 12:30 to 1:30 on Mondays and Wednesdays. So if those times work for you, great. If not, and you want to meet face to face, please email me. Let me know what time would work for you, and I would be glad to work around your schedule. Okay? Now, this is the second half of the American History Survey. This is History 1302. Some of you may have already taken History 1301, which ranges from pre-Columbian contact period, so 1491 and before that, to 1877. We're going to pick things up in 1877, and my hope is, and usually I do get there, we get to the 21st century. I always shoot for 2010 as an ending point for our class, and usually it does work out. What I want you to know about the class before we begin, I know that there are some of you out there that don't enjoy taking history classes, don't think you're very good at history classes, those sorts of things. I'm hopeful that that changes in this class. I'm hopeful that it's not only beneficial to you on an academic level, meaning that you're a better reader, you're a better writer after you take the class, but you have some semblance of a roadmap in terms of how we got to this particular moment in American history after having taken this class. I hope that you find it interesting. Of course, I'm going to talk about political history. You can't take this class and not learn a little bit about the New Deal or the Reagan Revolution or things of that sort, but my hope is that you really enjoy the social history aspect of this class, talking about the people that don't always, or in some cases ever, make it into a history textbook. I'll spend a considerable amount of time talking about the cultural history of the United States. African American history, women's history, Chicano history, all of these things are really, really big players in this class. So I'm hopeful that you take away something beneficial from a American citizen perspective. Okay. Next, what I want to do is talk to you about the books that you need and when you need them. I mean, the easy answer is you need all of them and you need them now. However, if you want to prioritize them in terms of purchasing them, you do have a little bit of option there. The book that you need right now, as in today, and you need to begin reading it right now, that would be this one right here. It's by a guy named Upton Sinclair. It's called The Jungle. I guess as some of you have at least heard of this book before. I need you to grab a copy of it, and I don't care if you buy it from our bookstore, you buy it from Barnes & Noble, you can buy it from Half Price, you can buy it from Amazon. I don't care how you get it, just get a copy of it, and again, start reading it. As you can see, it's relatively thick, so you're going to need to pace yourself, okay? Now, I don't care what your copy looks like. So again, if Half Price has it for, no pun intended, but half of what the bookstore wants for it, then feel free to go buy it from wherever is cheapest. Don't care what your cover looks like, what edition it is, what historian wrote the introduction. None of that matters to me as long as it's a copy in its original format, and as long as you begin reading it, we're good. Okay? As a matter of fact, if you don't want to buy it at all, what I've done for you is I've uploaded a digital copy of it. You can find this copy in the Information tab. It's inside a folder called Online Texts. If you open up that folder inside Information, what you're going to see is a downloadable version of this book. And if you don't mind reading it, either on your computer or on your tablet, your phone, what have you, then you can have it for free. Even though I don't think that the printed version of it is that expensive. The next book that you need very, very quickly is this thing right here, okay? This is a text called Voices of the American Nation. Typically, I will refer to it either as the American Nation or your Big Blue book, primarily because it's blue, okay? Now, you want volume 2. This is the second half of the survey. It's really easy to determine which one you want. You want the blue one, all right, not the red one. Now, that one might be a little bit more difficult to come across considering I had it custom made for this class, so I can't imagine that these things show up in places like Half Price, okay? The good news is it should be relatively cheap. There really isn't a book that I'm going to ask you to buy, like require you to buy, that's going to be more than about $15. In any case, I need you to get a copy of this relatively quickly because there's going to be several assignments that are going to be specifically drawn from this book. The last book that you need, and you've got a little bit of time before you actually need it, is this book right here. It's called Native Son by Richard Wright. You need a copy of that, and you do have a few weeks before I'm absolutely going to need you to begin reading it, all right? That being said, I really wouldn't procrastinate that much as far as finding it and buying it. It's not exactly the most common book in the world, and so it might take you a minute or two to find a copy and get one. That being said, I have seen it at Barnes & Noble, I've seen it at Half Price, and of course you can get it from our bookstore as well. Okay. The other thing that I want you to do, if you're on campus, this is probably your best bet. I want you to go to the library and check out a copy of the Transforming American History, or Transforming America DVD series. If you don't want to go to campus, or if you can't make it in, I realize this is an online class, what you can do is you can just watch these on the web. Inside the Information tab, there is a link to all of these lessons, which will make a lot more sense when you start going through the class on a week-by-week basis. You can watch these lessons right there online. Some of you might want a combination of the two. You have a copy of the DVDs through the library, but you also can watch it online. It doesn't really matter to me what you do as long as you watch those videos. Now, if you go down to page 3, what you're going to see is a week-by-week breakdown of what we're going to be doing. And I don't just mean what topics we'll be covering, although there's that. I'm talking about what assignments you're responsible for. So if you look at this week's assignments, I'm going to need you to start reading your Big Blue Book. I'm going to need you to start reading Upton Sinclair and the Jungle, and you're also going to need to watch several lessons from Transforming America, as well as my video lectures, which I'll talk about in a minute. Okay? In addition to the reading assignments and the viewing assignments, you will also see when assignments are due for this class. You will see the assignment itself, for example, paper 1, and you will also see the due date associated with paper 1. Same thing goes for things like quizzes, same thing goes for things like midterm or final exams. Okay? What I want you to do now is skip down to page 7, because what ought to be on your mind is, how do I get the best grade possible in this class? And I really do want you to get a good grade in this class. I hope that the class is not only interesting and useful from an academic perspective, but in the end it serves to bolster your overall GPA, and there really isn't any reason that it can't. Okay. Now, best thing that you can do when it comes to maximizing your performance is go ahead and complete every single one of the discussion forums. Every week you'll have at least one discussion forum that you need to complete, typically by Friday. Every once in a while I'll push it back a little bit, Saturday, Sunday, if it's a unique week, but typically they're going to be due on Friday at 11:59, so you'll have all day by Friday to get that thing in. The discussion forums are accessible in Blackboard, and underneath the Information tab you should see a tab that says Discussions. If you click that, it's going to bring you to the forum, the discussion board. And every week you're going to have an open-ended question that will typically refer you either to a document that I've uploaded for you, or it will refer you to a page in your Big Blue Book, ask you to analyze the document and use that document to tell me, something broader about American history. And again, the discussion questions are very direct and very specific in terms of what they're asking you. Now, I just really need you to do these. Okay, these are what I call the participation aspect of the class. So if we had this class as a lecture-based course, it would be you conversing with either me or your classmates in class. But considering this is an online format, we don't have that luxury, and therefore I need you to do that in a digital format. But this is a relatively easy way. This is 15% of your cumulative grade, and really all I look for when I grade these things is, did you do the actual reading? Is it pretty clear to me that you read it, that you understand it? And secondly, did you put at least a little bit of thought and effort into the question itself? Okay, the answer, that is. And typically, if the answer to both of those questions are yes, then I usually award full credit for the discussion forums. The next easiest thing that you can do would be to complete the quizzes. Now, quizzes aren't quizzes in the traditional sense of the word. What they really are writing assignments that happen to be open note and open book. Okay? As a matter of fact, usually what I will do is I will refer you to a document, and usually that document will be available along with the quiz in the Quizzes tab of Blackboard. So you'll have everything right there at your fingertips to complete the quizzes. So you'll analyze this document, and like the discussion forums, you'll use that document to answer this open-ended question for the quiz. You're going to see 6 of these quizzes over the course of the semester, but I only need you to be responsible for 5 of them. So if you complete all 6 and you complete them in a satisfactory manner, then that's going to mean you're going to qualify for 3 points of extra credit. So all of a sudden you can find various ways to get to the grade that you want to end up with in History 1302. Okay? Now, after the quizzes, things become a little more difficult in terms of their challenge that they present. So the paper assignments are going to be more challenging than anything else that I've listed up to this point. The paper assignments are going to ask you to write a 2 to 3 page paper based on one of the 2 books that we're reading, either The Jungle or Native Son, which is why those books are so important, and it's important that you begin reading, for right now, The Jungle. If you want to know what I'm going to ask you, as in this moment today, what you can do is you can go onto Blackboard, click the Paper Assignment tab, and you should see Paper 1 Guidelines. If you download that, you can know what I'm going to ask you, weeks ahead of when that paper will actually be due, okay? So I'm not trying to trick you here. I'm going to give you all the time that I possibly can to successfully complete this assignment, okay? But in addition to the question prompt, you will also see folders entitled Paper 1 or Paper 2 resources. If you open up those folders, what you're going to see are links to YouTube, and it's going to be me lecturing to you on ways that you can get your brain moving in the proper direction when it comes to thinking about and addressing whatever question it is that you're talking about, either Paper 1 or Paper 2. Okay? So you really do have a lot of resources when it comes to doing well on the papers, but the papers are going to require some work. There's no way around it. They're going to require you to do some solid work. Now, in addition to the papers, you're also going to see one midterm exam and one final exam. And both of the exams are going to be a combination of multiple choice questions, short written questions. In other words, you're going to have to write out your answers in a shorter format, but still, and one long essay question per exam. Again, if you want those questions that I'm going to ask you right now, you can go inside the Exams tab and you can download either the midterm or the final exam review guide. And what this is going to do is it's going to help you to prepare for those exams. And generally speaking, the people that put a little bit of work into this course when it comes to the preparation, those are the people that do quite well in the class. All right? Now, before I go any further, what I want you to understand about the assignments is that everything that I'm asking you to do in this class is going to be submitted through Blackboard. I don't need you to come into class, campus that is. I don't need you to meet with me unless you want to meet with me or you need to meet with me. Everything that you do in this course will be done through Blackboard, including my video lectures. Let's go back just for a second to the course outline, the week-by-week breakdown. If you look at any given week in the semester, one of the things that you're going to have to do is watch at least one and sometimes more video lectures which are available in the content section of Blackboard. Okay, so if you click content, what you're going to see are two folders. One's entitled Video Lectures, the other's entitled PowerPoint Presentations. The lectures have been numbered, okay? And so you should see 3 units when you open up the video lectures folder. And if you selected unit 1, for example, if you wanted to refer to number 6, you could go watch number 6, and it takes you through that particular lesson for our course. It's really important that you're watching these video lectures. And I don't just mean because I've asked you to do it and this is a part of the class, it's part of your homework, if you will. The people that do well are the people that stay plugged in to these video lectures. You might have noticed that I didn't assign an actual textbook, and I don't test you over any textbook. The tests, and to some extent the papers too, are drawn heavily from my lectures, as well as the Transforming America lessons. They're sort of like mini documentary series, if you will. They also provide a lot of really important resources for doing well in the course. My point is I'm not putting those lectures online or giving you access to the Transforming America series simply because I think it looks good and I want you to know that I want you to get the most out of the course. I'm putting it on there because those of you that do diligence when it comes to watching them and keeping up with them will do better in the course. I promise you that, okay? So anyway, keep in mind it's not just about reading the course material. A lot of this is about watching those video lectures inside Blackboard. Now, aside from the evaluation process, there are a few other things that I hope you will familiarize yourself with, whether we're talking drop date or what would happen in the case of plagiarism. Keep in mind I reserve the opportunity to change the syllabus or the class in some form or fashion That doesn't happen very often in a semester, and when it does, it typically benefits the students. Usually it involves a project or an assignment getting pushed back in terms of its due date, not forward. But anyway, please just keep that in mind. It's also probably worth mentioning that you're going to want to keep an eye on your email for the next several weeks, however long you're taking this course, simply because I do tend to send out a lot of emails as reminders or draw your attention to one thing or another. With that being said, I'm very excited to work with all of you. I really, really enjoy teaching this class. I do hope that you get a lot out of it, but keep in mind there is some work to be done. So I hope that you've polished up your glasses, assuming for a second that you wear glasses. I hope those pencils are nice and sharp and you can hit the ground running. I'm always here for you. Understand that simply because I don't meet face to face, it's not like I'm some figment of your imagination. I'm always here, and of course, in a physical presence as well. If you need anything, please don't be hesitant to let me know. I'm looking forward to a very productive semester. Looking forward to meeting all of you in face-to-face format if the occasion should ever present itself. For right now, I'm hopeful that I've answered all of your questions and that we're all on the same page when it comes to the requirements and expectations. I'll be talking to you again shortly. Bye for now.